Welcome back to a new video. I haven't done a commentary in a little bit, and mostly just because I've just been busy with life, I guess. Mostly just work and lifting, of course, but I'm just not really feeling the desire to spend all that time to do that when it's easier just to, put out a training thing and show what I've been doing. But this week's been pretty good. I think the biggest thing I need to get better this week is just sleep. But a lot of this session that you'll see in this first one, just some powers, and then some back squats. The hip was kind of achy, so I didn't want to push the back squats anymore than what I did. The 440 felt like it moved fine, but it just wasn't very, 100% comfortable. The next day, I was actually able, I had a lot of troubles with 110, but a lot of that was just mental. I just wasn't, I was thinking too much, pretty much, and I just wasn't mentally committing and overthinking the lift. And once I made the fourth attempt, and it kind of just clicked that I just have to be aggressive and go, and was able to go make 115 the first time and then 118 the time after that. The reason to go from 115 to 118 is that in theory, on Saturday with the heavy session, I would like to do 118 for those 5 singles like I did 115 last week. And clean and jerks, I was in theory going to go heavy today, but the bar felt tremendously heavy, and I actually missed, you'll see a 120 clean miss, and my front rack just it slipped out of my hands, and I thought I had enough chalk, and I think I did, but that was just feeling the bar off the ground. I was like, ooh, I'm actually still fatigued, and I think a lot of that is even from the squat yesterday, but from the squat over the weekend, and just kind of the fatigue from that, but just lifting in general, of course. Doing the heavy hang snatch and hang clean and jerk certainly is not going to help that case, but I'm going to try to do some, actually might be a very similar session, snatch and clean and jerk, but try to do a heavier clean and jerk tomorrow and see if that feels a bit better. But just wasn't, I didn't want to push it past there, and I mean, after I missed that 120, I was like, I'm not going to miss a 120 clean and not attempt it again. But it, even pulling it felt heavy, and that's when I know if it's not flying off the ground, then it's not there. Even 70 didn't feel that good, and it was just odd. And I think that just shows that I didn't have a lot in the tank left, and I kind of just used whatever was there to do the snatches. So in addition to the work you see in the video, I'm going to do a lot of accessory work today. So shoulder pump, tricep, bicep, a lot of band work, and then some push-ups and wrist roller stuff. So I'm going to do that kind of as I'm just going through my evening. So I don't know how much of each thing I'll do, just a little bit of extra hypertrophy work, but I do still do that stuff. And even on that Saturday session where I did all that work, since I was at the gym, I did some cable overhead tricep extensions, and so those are nice because those always feel really good to do. Yeah, just continue to move through the week and just get the work in that I can. I think the big thing right now is trying to still push hard, but not trying to, I don't want to say aggravate it, because there's nothing that's really one thing that's making the it's really IT band, but making that kind of discomfort worse. But I don't want it to have a twinge or something and have a flare up to where it's a really big problem. So I'm trying to be pretty cautious about that, but at the same time, knowing that if it feels okay, I'm not on a snatch, I'm probably not gonna hurt my hip or IT band or whatever on it, just because the shear load isn't that much. But it actually felt pretty good with that, and I think that's probably another thing that probably made clean jerks feel a little bit worse, was the just the fatigue from the snatches added, exacerbated a little bit extra with that IT band irritation, made cleans just not feel very good, and the 120 jerk wasn't very good at all. So hopefully that goes well tomorrow, but it actually feels like it's getting a little bit better despite me not resting at all. So I am hopefully slowly getting past it, but it's just one of those things. I can probably do some extra hip adduction. I think that's when you go out, or abduction, whatever, the increasing the hip angle, or pushing your knees out, doing a little bit of that. But really, I have found these last couple of days kind of massaging, not actually at the top closer to the hip where a lot of the discomfort is, but just kind of in the lower part where it connects my knee, which kind of makes sense that that's kind of where the irritation originated, just because it was from a squat. So it makes sense that quad tendons and quad muscles and all of that became tight and pulled on that tendon a little bit and just kind of made it inflamed. I mean, that, all the other lifts I do obviously works my quads and hips and all of that stuff. So I don't think it's anything major. Obviously, I'm still lifting pretty well, despite it. But it's just one thing I just want to be cautious about because I have injured. It was actually my right hip, IT band, probably actually hip, and I injured it, and then I injured it again because obviously I just keep lifting because I'm a Neanderthal. But that second one was like the one that actually like really felt like I couldn't do much after that, or like it really limited me with that. So trying to avoid any sort of big pain. I'd say right now it's probably like if a 10 was like I can't lift at all, it definitely today was probably like a 4. But then once I got the clean jerks, it was probably like a 6 or a 7, and I really don't want it to get to an 8 or 9 because that's kind of like a twinge or something. Right now it's just sore. I can deal with soreness, but we really don't want to have big twinges and pains like that. But that's gonna be it for this video. I did the commentary before I finished editing, so I don't know how long the clips will be. So hopefully it's timed properly. I've talked for about looks like 6 minutes, so hopefully that correlates pretty well, and there's not too much blank space or too many extra clips. But this is 2 different training sessions, the Monday and Tuesday training. So, or when Tuesday and Wednesday, sorry. I did hang stuff on Monday. But anyway, that's going to be it for this one. I'll talk to you in the next video and hope you all have a great day. Peace.